Hello everybody and welcome to a new YouTube video. This is Danny, also known as iAnnihilate. I am currently 12.5 trillion MMR. I've been playing a lot of Ember Spirit this patch. Probably the best mid-hero in the game currently. I think there isn't a hero that can do as much as him for the team in the early game. There's some honorable mentions. I did put out a tier list the other day. You can go check that out on my channel. I think that generally for mid right now, you want a hero that can fight the kind of like automatic objectives, like the power runes, the wisdom runes. If you can go steal theirs at 7 minutes or 14 minutes, that's great. This is going to be, this next part's like a bit more MMR dependent. I don't know what the MMR cutoff is for the Tormentor existing. I know that at some point, because the Tormentor, honestly, it's not a very well-designed objective. I feel like when I coach people or watch replays of those that are like 3K, 4K, even like especially 2K MMR and lower, a Tormentor doesn't exist, really. Like, if people are over there, they might do it, but in my games, like, at like 13, 14 minutes, usually a team calls, let's play Tormentor side. Let's get control of Tormentor side. We want to do it right away. There's usually like really, really like big group up fights, either over the 14-minute Wisdom or the Tormentor on that side. The side is dependent on whether Night Stalker's in the game or whatever, but just to show off a little bit, this is how Ember's gone for me this patch. I've played over 1,000 games of Ember in my lifetime. I've played the triple Battle Fury, double Daedalus. I've played the, I guess it was more like double Battle Fury or single Battle Fury, but you know what I'm talking about. I've done it all. I've seen it all. I've seen all the builds. I will give you all of my wisdom on this hero. For the most part, this is just gonna be an overview video. I'm probably not gonna include too much replay stuff. I just want to give the like best blueprint overview, like from zero to hero type thing on Ember Spirit, especially since he's so great right now, and honestly one of the most fun heroes to play in Dota. So first off, I'm just gonna go over the skills individually. We can talk about skill builds and stuff later. I don't know how long this video is gonna be. I might not even cut that much of it. We'll see. But we'll go over skills and talents first before we go over skill builds and other stuff. So if it helps, I don't know if this is Dota Plus or just in general, but if you alt right-click spells, you can see the range. It could help if you're learning this hero to just see where the chain's range is. So this won't change the Timber, or not the Timber, the Terrorblade, but if I walk close to him, this will change him. This also works on Sleight of Fist, which is kind of like Omni Slash, but hits everybody in the area once. And with the Facet, it'll hit the closest guy to you twice. So this one twice, and as you see there, the second hit does a bit less damage, but it can still proc stuff. It can linger the Mage Slayer bit. It's very nice in the laning phase. And if you wanna try to test the combo, because it's very simple, you just W then press Q. You have about, I think it's like 0.25 seconds to do it now, the attack interval, which gives you more than enough time to press it. There are like little tips and tricks that are a bit too advanced for the scope of this video, but you can like shift an attack and then chains. If I make a bunch of targets, I'll try to show it, but honestly, you don't even have to worry about this. I like never do this in game. So if I wanna change this guy, for example, it's gonna depend a bit on the luck. So if he's in front, it'll be a little easier. I'm gonna shift an attack and then a chains on that one. So you can attack during Sleight of Fist. It won't do anything. Because you're Sleight of Fisting, it like disarms you, I'm pretty sure, or something, and just does your damage. I don't know exactly how it works, but you won't actually get an attack off during Sleight of Fist. But when you're in melee range of the guy you, sorry, let me do that again. Oopsie. When you're in melee range of the guy you shift attack, it'll do the chains. So I'll try it one more time. Let's see. And I'll do it on one of the ones in the back, maybe. It might take a couple tries, but, no, it's because I hit that one first. That's unlucky. I did. Okay, I'm getting... This is why I don't like this trick, by the way. It's hitting the back one first every time for some reason. I don't know if that's just how it prioritizes or what. Or if I'm getting unlucky. I honestly... There we go. And it didn't work that time. I was too slow, I think. There we go. It worked that time. It's very finicky. It honestly doesn't matter very much. I'll try to show some actual stuff that can matter. Honestly, report this video. Report me all 6 or whatever it is. Send me to low priority because that was probably a waste of everyone's time to just show you that small trick that took like way too long. But anyways. I'm gonna look you in the eyes as I say this. But please subscribe. On to Ember. Flame Guard, Flame Jardian. It is the same AoE as Chains, I'm pretty sure. So, yeah, 400. So if I stand here, it'll start burning. And that's another reason why having, like, the Chains circle around you can be nice. Just, like, as a little visual thing. I'm a boomer, a dinosaur. I've played this game since, like, there wasn't even a stun bar. There were no mana bars on enemy heroes. I had to click on them. I'm, like... These don't help me too much just because of all the muscle memory I have and stuff, but I feel like this is probably one of the coolest thing they added, especially for learning new heroes you don't play. You can have your Sleight of Fist attack range instead if that's what you choose, or the Remnant. Either way, very, very useful. Now, this is the confusing part for beginners on Ember Spirit, okay? This is also affected by movement speed. So if I shoot my ult out, it goes like that. If I phase boots first, it goes faster. Now, something you can do, and I'm going to get rid of these first. So activating the Remnant will activate all Remnants you've previously casted for the same amount of mana. So it'll cost me 150. If I place all 3, and it has a cooldown now, it only costed 150 mana to go to all 3. So if someone's perma-stunned and you just want to dump all your ults on them for damage, that'll save you mana. With Aghanims, and I guess I'll show this before the other stuff, but with Aghanims, you can float around a bit too. Like, you can kind of chain them together like this. And I would just get into a demo lobby like this and try that, because you can save the mana cost, but it really rarely comes up. Aghanims hasn't been that popular in Ember until this patch, because they made the Fire Remnant shoot out pretty much instantly, which feels really good. This still has a cast time, though, so keep that in mind. Most of the time, you're just going to be putting this far back behind you, because your job is generally going to be to just press WQ from far away until they're low. And then when you see a moment to strike, you can go in. You're just spamming your Mage Slayer on people. And having an escape card is really good. And then you can just use another Remnant. Like, say I have one back here. Just use another Remnant to go in when it's finally time. But this is a patience hero for the most part. Even though you're melee, unless someone's isolated, you don't want 3 or 4 people to get on top of you, basically. Similarly to his Flame Guard, he has Immolation, which will... I don't remember if it doubles in radius. Let me read it. It doubles in radius, not quite as far as the Flame Guard range, but if you're right on top of people or creeps, you get some free damage over time, which helps a lot to farm if you don't have Flame Guard early, and it's free. And then if you have the Shard, it'll burn them even, like, farther away, which is nice. The Shard is currently bugged. It says if a hero dies near you, which 400 range, you'll get a charge. You're currently, unless they've patched it, like, literally today, you only get a charge if you get the kill right now. So stealing kills is kind of nice, but for the most part, you're buying the Shard so that you could do... Let me get a Dagon 5 on one of these and free spells. You're basically buying a Shard because it drops a Remnant when you die, and you can buy back and go to it. So it's kind of like a paid-for Aegis, basically. Like, you spend 1,400 gold. And there's no, like, super good time to buy this, by the way. I would say that, like, if you think the next fight will decide the game and you have enough gold for buyback and the Shard, it's probably a good time to buy it. Whereas, like, usually, like, second or third, or I guess third or fourth item, like, let's say you have your Mage Slayer, your Snai, and, like, Aghanims or Shivas or whatever you buy, maybe it's going to take too long to finish the Shivas, and the components aren't that good. Like, the plate mail is kind of whatever, the Veil is kind of whatever at that point. Sometimes it is better just secure that, like, really important Roche fight, or if you have an Aegis already, you want to go high ground, whatever it is, like, you kind of buy this before a really important fight, or like even it puts the AoE fire on the floor on your ulti too, so it's nice for defending high ground and stuff like that. But it's not a priority, I would say. Don't want to jump around too much with the item builds and stuff, because I'll go over that in a bit. The talent tree and the facet tree is very straightforward. There are still like maybe one, maybe two people out of 10,000, maybe 10 billion that think the chain gang facet is good. Double impact is way better. There's 10 trillion reasons. The main reason being that Ember's an early game snowballer, and being able to double hit on your Sleight of Fist in the early game, and you normally max the spell first, just it gives you like infinite gold over time, basically. Like, think of it this way: if you play Anti-Mage with a 5-minute Battle Fury versus a 20-minute Battle Fury, you're gonna get like compound interest kind of on like just getting your farming item faster. You should be getting a decent amount more kills with the Sleight of Fist facet, or lane that much crisper with it by like harassing the enemy laner out a bit, that you'll just get so much more gold in the early game that'll help you get your later items way faster, and it ends up just being the better early game and late game facet because of that. Even though the chain gang is really cool, it's not a bad facet by any means. This one is just way better game flow wise, even though like I said, they both look pretty good on paper. Some games you're gonna take the Flame Guard barrier amount. It's not bad, especially with Mage Slayer. You can be pretty tanky. I would say that for most games, the 300 barrier is generally enough, but you can kind of play it by ear. Also, a lot of the times, I might hit level 10 with only 1 or 2 Flame Guard points, so I'll skip it for later if I still want it. But the damage talent helps you farm for the same reasons I talked about the facet. 12 damage in the early game, even just on your Sleight of Fist, or for farming camps, might just be better than buffing your Flame Guard, just because you'll get more items and it might make a difference on a couple kills. When you put 12 damage on a Sleight of Fist that might hit somebody twice and hit their whole team, it does make a big difference. I used to be really big on the Flame Guard DPS talent with a BKB and just staying on top of people with Shivas and stuff, and it does a lot of damage. This patch, I find I get a lot more out of the chain's duration, weirdly enough. I've just really been a fan. I think because you have the immolation for free, like 44 DPS on top of your Flame Guard, you kind of have double DPS with the shard anyway, so it doesn't feel like as big of a DPS increase, even though it is still the same, like 100% on it. And there's a lot of games, less so this patch, where I go Octarine over Ags, but with Octarine, you get a lot of chains duration, and there's some Storm Spirits out there. There's some heroes you just really kind of want to chains down. And a lot of the heroes in my games, at least at my rank, there's a lot of, like, Atos-y heroes, but heroes that don't have stuns or setup. Like, you might find a lot of Silencers or Ancient Apparitions or Warlocks that just really like that you chains people for 4 seconds so they can press their spells on them, get their damage over time going, and it just helps more to play for the poke. I pretty much always get the slight talents afterwards. The Remnant Charge doesn't really ever come into play. You have your shard, even though it is bugged, and your Ags. You don't really need more Remnants. If you want more Remnants, buy a Refresher at that point. And the chain's damage is whatever compared to just having the 2 slights and the synergy there. Next thing I want to talk about, and I'll try to get more visual stuff for you guys, because I don't want to just be yapping in a demo lobby, but in this patch, and in general as a mid, you don't really want to pick first or second. You kind of want to pick last. If your team bullies you into picking second phase, it's okay. You're going to have to be more comfortable playing against stuff like Huskar, maybe a Dirty Viper or a Sniper. Those are like the really, really hard matchups, even Shadow Fiend, where people struggle with a lot. And in those matchups, I strongly recommend just playing not to die, even if you're not getting very much farm. It's gonna feel impossible to catch up on levels on this hero, but a lot easier to catch up on gold. So even if you're getting denied every creep, you're still gonna get more levels than if you're dying and having to TP back and losing creeps while you're dead. You can make a stack for yourself and farm it with Flame Guard or something, but This hero feels a lot better to play in a more normal matchup, like Storm Ember, Storm Pang, or not, sorry, not Storm, Ember Pango, Ember Quap, Ember Earthshaker, Ember Primal, Ember Kunkka. I'm not sure what's popular at all ranks right now. I know that the mid meta can be a little different at different ranks. Even Ember against Invoker can be pretty decent as long as you don't die to his combo at some point. And you're really just kind of looking out for the evil men, like the Sniper, the Viper, the Shadow Fiend, just like evil people, the Huskars, the people with nothing better to do than to queue up a hero that doesn't aggro the creeps when they attack you. Those type of heroes. Other heroes that you might struggle against in the current patch. If you're playing against a lot of Morphlings, it feels really bad to play against Morphling. Or carry Slark. Honestly, I used to not like Ember against Jug or Lifestealer, but I don't mind it anymore. I think if you change them and they have to press their spin or their rage, that's pretty good. You're not unhappy about that, and those heroes can't really kill you because you can teleport around. You're really, like I said, looking out for Morphling because he'll turn into you and chains you, and that's just not fun. Or Slark because he can get Ags and pounce on you twice. You don't like playing against Roots. Sanjin Yasha, like, building tanky kind of solves a lot of those problems. And honestly, Puck is the exception, where I think a lot of people tend to panic against Puck, where they get coiled and they're like, oh no, I'm leashed for 5 seconds. But if you just run out of the coil, you're usually kind of fine. He doesn't have any other ways of keeping you in place, and the silence is like decently long and annoying, but it has to be like a combo into something else a lot of time. It's really not that bad to get coiled on Ember. Don't get baited into buying Euls too much. If you can, go Manta over SNY for Orchids, but those are like the problem heroes to play against. What's always nice, and if you have a friend, I know a lot of us don't these days, Dota's kind of a very terrible solo queue experience where it's you against 9 other people in one lobby and you're fighting for your life the entire time. And yeah, I mean, you know how it goes, just complete despair. But sometimes you do 1v9 and you become the hero of the entire movie and you become like the coolest guy on the planet and everyone loves you and commends you. But that doesn't happen every game, obviously. Oh yeah, Monkey King's also kind of annoying, but that's neither here nor there. If you do have a friend who plays post 4, maybe post 5, and can play on your chains, so we're going to talk about skill builds a bit right now. There's 2 main skill builds, and the more you trust your teammates or your ability to secure kills in the sidelines, like if you have really strong lanes and you think they're going to go well, or you're even noticing like, oh, my safe lane is killing their off lane a lot, or my off lane is killing their safe lane a lot. You can just kind of play for Slight and Chains, like 4 fists. So that would look like this. Oops, I got one too many. Sorry. And after level 7 or 8, so once Slight's maxed, you can decide, okay, do I need Flame Guard to maybe farm more neutral camps with my Mage Slayer or whatever you're getting? Do I need to get more chains because I'm just getting kills and the neutrals aren't a big priority? I can just farm lanes and farm heroes. Pudge is like by far the classic combo with Ember or Mirana. Now you're gonna have to convince your teammate that you are gonna set up for them. The amount of times, even at my rank, I've had a Mirana or Pudge just come to my lane and shoot their arrow or hook without my chains, and I'm just like, what are you doing? But like I said, if you do have the friend buff and you slight chains into hook, very good combo. Similar with like a Skywrath or any other support that might require some setup. Again, plays very well with the current supports, like the Ringmasters, the Silencers, the Warlocks, the Jakiros even. Jakiro can just like raw dog a Macropyre off your chains into an Ice Path. Plays very, very well with the current heroes in the meta. And the last thing I'll say about when to pick the hero before I get too much into skill builds as well is if Mage Slayer looks really good. Ember is by far the most powerful Mage Slayer character, I guess, not carry, in the game. It's not even close. He applies it to everybody from Sleight of Fist. He can apply it from far away, which isn't always true. Like if you play a Void Spirit or even like a Storm Spirit or something, it's not easy to get the Mage Slayer on the guy you want a lot of the time. Very easy on Ember. Monkey can be kind of similar with his ulti. That's another Mage Slayer carry. But yeah. You don't really care who your carry or offlane is when you play Ember. You would like strong lanes you can gank. But I find the easiest play style on this hero is if you have some sort of ranged carry, like a Terror Blade or a Morphling, and you just root somebody from far away so they can just hit them freely. So you can stand near your carry, keep them alive if it's a drow or whatever. You're kind of bodyguarding for them and just rooting people so they can get attacks off without the enemy running away. The other skill build you can go for is going to be a little dependent on matchups. And I'm going to try to show a little bit of one matchup if the video doesn't seem like it's going to be too long. You can go for a... So, like, let's say you're level 3, you go Flame Guard and Slight, and then you max Slight. So against Puck, level 2 Shield will block, like... Let me reset the Puck. So, level 2 Shield blocks his level 2 Orb. And I'll test level 3 Orb, but I don't think it does. But just for peace of mind. Yeah, so even level 3 Orb. And it's very similar against heroes like... Storm Spirit's the other one where and Quap as well, where I like having 2 points in Flame Guard and then just not putting more points into it. So with level 2 Remnant and this... Okay, I walked into both. My bad. Okay. You block an Overload and a Remnant, and then let me spawn an ally. Let's say he's going for the second Remnant. I can Sleight of Fist dodge when it's about to explode on the other one. That requires a little bit of timing and stuff, but that's like matchup knowledge things. Level 2 Flame Guard works very well against these like Quap, Puck, Storm heroes that have spells. You can kind of dodge a lot of the orbs too, or Sleight of Fist into the wave to dodge some of them. But having both tools helps, because these heroes push the wave onto you a lot with their spells while they harass you, and you don't want to just be dealing with a creep wave under your tower the whole time. These range heroes do not play well against creep waves, because creeps will do a lot of damage to them. I will... Like, if you do go Flame Guard build, and even without the Flame Guard sometimes, you just aggro the creeps. If you aggro them back and kind of bait them onto the range creep, they'll run into your Flame Guard as well. I'll try and show some, like, a small... Like, it's kind of important, so I'll try and show, like, a video, like I said. There's a replay I've downloaded of Quinn playing versus a Storm from a recent tournament. It'll probably be a good example. Other than that, in lane... Try and, like, once you have level 5, that's your ticket to start spamming your Slight more, because it does cost a decent amount more mana. You can Slight chains if it catches them with a creep or something too, but most of your mana is going to be for spamming double Slight with level 5. Sometimes even, like, level 2 Sleight of Fist is enough, but this 9-second cooldown, 115 damage with double impact is really when you start getting a lot of value out of it. There's a lot of things on Ember Spirit that I find are very particular that help a lot. Like, rules are meant to be broken. Don't just follow all of these item build advices like 100%. Maybe 95% plus. You should do kind of this default build though, and it's going to be from the laning phase, so just try to follow along a bit. You're going to want to get your bottle. So 4 branches, Tango, and either a Fairy Fire. If you're playing against Puck, I would prefer Fairy Fire, for example, because there might be like an all-in kill. Same with Storm. If you're playing against heroes like Huskar or Monkey King, I prefer to get a Quelling Blade because they harass you so much and you don't really want to trade with them like 1v1. You don't want to get into this situation where you're both 1 HP because they're just going to bully you off the wave, right? You don't want to walk into a Huskar, he gets down to 100, you get down to 100, and then you're watching him take every creep because if you walk in, you'll die. the quelling will help you get to your bottle faster. Your main goal on a lot of these spirits or traditional mids in the current meta for water runes is getting this bottle before the 2-minute mark and filling up your bottle on 1 water rune. It'll basically give you full mana, normally will also give you full HP, and it'll make a huge difference if you prioritize this bottle. There's too many games I've seen of average MMR players, like 2 to 3k, where they start too many stat items or they skip the bottle for too long and they don't have regen. The amount of games I've seen of like a puck starting with like this, for example, just for damage because they want last hits, and then they don't get a bottle forever. And just use your spells as you can to get creeps as well. Don't worry about losing range creeps before bottle. If you get all 6 melee creeps in the first 2 waves and get denied both range creeps but get your bottle, that's worth it. That's good. Because the bottle will give you so much that you could just focus on XP later from getting good trades with your bottle. If you get your bottle before 2 minutes and they don't, but they denied 2 range creeps, you don't really care. Ember, like, I'm gonna try to talk before I get too much into the items as well. I want to talk a bit about kind of the, you know, actually I'll save this for later because I can kind of talk with an example in front of me if I open the replay. Let's just finish the default item build and then I'll hop into that replay like I said, and I'll try to my best. I have a drawing tool I might use too. I want to start using that in the videos. And anyways, after your bottle, let's say you ate one of these branches, your tangos are gone. Oh no. If you're against these like storm puck spamming heroes, I do like getting usually a second set of tangos if I need them, and a magic stick, sometimes even the full wand. And then you really want to prioritize phase boots, but have Blightstone by the time you have level 3 Sleight of Fist if possible. Even by the time, like, if you're going the Flame Guard 2 points build like I was talking about, by the time you have 2 points Sleight of Fist level 4, you kind of want to have the Blightstone. You don't have to get boots right away. And in some games, you'll even see my inventory look like this. If they're low and I know, like, just spamming and getting damage, like, this helps more for denying creeps and spamming Sleight on them. But boots will help you secure a kill. There's some games where I'll go boots and a blood grenade. You kind of just play it by how the lane is going and what their HP is like. Your item build should look like this by the time you're level 7. Maybe a raindrop. If you're having trouble sustaining in lane, an extra set of tangos or a raindrop will help you a lot if you can block any sort of magic damage. With the raindrops, it does work well with your shield too. So let's say Storm is level 7. Okay, I skilled too many of this by accident, but it doesn't matter. The raindrop blocked for my shield, as you can see, which didn't actually always used to work that way before the barrier rework. But don't finish the corrosion if they have healing, like. If you're against a Huskar, it's good to have the Frost Orb. I might convince myself to full corrosion. If they have a Morphling on their team and IO, you can maybe convince yourself to go for full corrosion. Blightstone is good enough. You have enough chase with phase boots and remnants that you don't need the slow at all, and the agility is like very small buff and it's half the cost. You would much rather go for your Mage Slayer earlier, and if you're having a really rough game, it's still fine to go for a Maelstrom instead to catch up in the jungle. But I would strongly recommend Mage Slayer. This is, again, the best hero for Mage Slayer. It even works against heroes like Bristleback, even though the quills are physical. Because it's a spell, it reduces the damage from the spell, from the passive. The magic resistance, obviously, on the item itself doesn't help, but the on-hit apply does. Furthermore, when you go for Mage Slayer, okay, do not buy the Orb of Venom first. Do not buy the Glove of Haste first. Maybe 1 to 2% of the time the Cloak is good if you have an abundance of mana. Like maybe Lion or Pugna or Caudal is giving you mana and they have a lot of magic damage. You for sure want to put this item in your inventory as quickly as possible, okay? And I'll explain. Mage Slayer has 2 mana regen for 2,800 gold. It's the only mana regen item besides Bottle you are going to have the entire game. very important to have mana on Ember. It feels very tough to upkeep your mana on this hero. The Sleight of Fists are 75 mana now. Mana will become an issue. There's no more Kaya Sange on this hero, and you can get your best in slot mana regen item for 1200 gold basically as the laning phase is ending. This will help you farm more. You'll be able to cast more spells in the early game fights. It is by far better than all these other Mage Slayer components, and you'll get the other components faster by buying this first as well. It also just gives you damage on your W. Gives you a little bit of regen. The regen's nice, a little health regen. Trust me, please get that first. In most games, you are then going to get a Sange and Yasha. Why a Sange and Yasha? Well, Kaya Sange does not have status resistance any longer, so getting a Sleight of Fist or your Escape Remnant off is very important, and status resistance and the HP both combine well with the Mage Slayer build, and sometimes even Shiva's after, to just make it impossible, even if they catch you with a few stuns, to chain lock you before you get out. Like I said, you're not really trying to go in, and if you do need to go in, BKB can be better than Sange and Yasha. Ideally, you try to split up the fights so that you're sliding from far away with your chains, or you're going around and finding heroes that are in the backline isolated, like a solo Silencer or a solo Jakiro. And then you don't need BKB to kill those guys one by one, but you shouldn't be jumping into 5 heroes without a BKB, and if you're not going to do that, then Sange and Yasha is just way better. That's why pro players are picking this up right now. Just the way you play the hero and in the fights is not just running in face first, tanking every stun, or BKBing and just auto-attacking people down. After Sange and Yasha Mage Slayer, Shiva's is generally pretty good as some anti-healing, and I typically get rid of Blightstone. If you need more anti-healing, you go Corrosion as well, but I typically get rid of Blightstone because I love keeping the wand for just some more mana in the fights and the bottle. And Shiva's or Ags is really good at this point. And then you get the other after, pretty much. And then last item, so like, you know, this would be full slots, for example. Let me... Last item, usually BKB or Refresher, and then eat Ags. There's sometimes you're going to get a Hex, but these are like the 4 items you want, pretty much. It used to be Octarine over Ags, like I said. Sometimes you can get Octarine after Ags as well, and then eat the Ags and get Refresher or whatever. But it feels so good with the change to the cast time on the Remnant to play with the Ags like this. So, things I'm not typically going to be able to cover in this video that I'll just try to mention. Situationally, you can do Lincolns. If they have dual Doom, like those very powerful single target spells, you can opt for a Lincolns. Manta over the Sange and Yasha, or even a Yule's to dispel a bunch of silences from like a Silencer or a Puck, or even just getting BKB. BKB is more of like a secondary option over the Sange and Yasha, which is the default. In games where you're far behind as well, maybe the laning phase didn't go as you want, getting a Maelstrom over a Mage Slayer or just going BKB earlier can work as well. It feels so much better to get Sange and Yasha early when you're having a good game than when you're kind of getting it from behind. Radiance is also situational. If it is your best item versus auto attackers, so TA, Huskar, you know, even like a PL or something, it's better than Mjolnir. Evasion is very, very good, but again, you're not typically going to buy this, and it's hard to fit in the build. Now, if you guys have other questions about item builds, I still have my old Ember guide up that goes into more depth with a like guide from here. I think it was 7.35 even. And a lot of this is still applicable for situational stuff at least. Not so much the core item builds, because they obviously changed Gleipnir. Maelstrom doesn't go into Gleipnir anymore. Yeah, so let me get this pen tool out maybe. Let me find the replay of the Ember game I was talking about. I plan on making a lot more content like this, by the way. So if you've gotten this far in the video and you like the video, Put banana in the comments, and if you have a hero you'd like me to see, I typically focus on mid, but or like heroes I'm playing. I play a lot of Monkey King lately. Let me know, and I'll try to edit these down in the future a bit, or do a better job at like yapping a little quicker. But I'm still kind of newish to YouTube. I've been doing it for a little while, but it hasn't been like a big focus. So I apologize if these videos are a bit long-winded and yappy. Wait, so if it was Quinn playing, I don't remember. I think he was standing in for Falcons, so it might have been the tournament before. Maybe this one. Quinn versus Sniper. Oops, not delete. That would be bad. Okay, so this one, he does very well against Laurel in this game. And I'll try to point out lane-specific stuff. So this is a very classic matchup for Ember. And let me get the drawing tool as well, because I think there'll be stuff I can point out on the screen that'll be very, very helpful. Do a display capture. Okay, so if I do a little smiley face, you guys can see. Perfect. Perfect, perfect. And move this onto the screen as well. Okay, so hold on. Perfect, perfect. I'm having to tab out a little bit. So I have some notes for once, like some really in-depth notes. So Ember versus normal melee heroes or range heroes that are like normal in quotes, so not the Viper Huskars. A lot of the time, you're trying to get people to come to you. You don't want to chase them necessarily. So I'll try to point it out when I see it. But if you have Flame Guard up, especially if you're playing around the Flame Guard, even against heroes like Pango, I kind of like the Flame Guard over Chains a lot of the time for a similar reason, is you want people to come close to you, because then your Sleight of Fist will hit them twice, or you can run at them with Flame Guard. And you want to use Flame Guard in an opportunistic way. So like if it can kind of push them away from the creeps when you can go for denies. So in this specific matchup, what he's going to look to do is block remnants with Flame Guard if possible when he goes for denies, and also Sleight of Fist dodge some remnants, but also try to get denies by pushing the storm away. So here he just Flame Guards right away. I think this is fine too. You could aggro back, so like if you aggro the creeps back and bait the range creep a bit, or wait for one of the creeps to get low and then deny, because like we'll see later, because I'm sure he's gonna aggro back at some point. Level 1, I think he's not necessarily looking to trade, he's just going for bottle. He blocks one of the remnants there, which is nice. He's just gonna get the full wave. And this is the benefit of Flame Guard, okay? Instead of the opposite happening, where Storm would be spamming his spells on the wave and right-clicking the Ember a lot, he now has a 3 creep advantage, and he can hit the Storm, and the Storm can't hit him back. And that you get the Flame Guard like 60% of waves or something, not every single wave, and it feels really nice. The one benefit of doing it right away level 1 is it gets the cooldown going faster. So we'll see, and I'll play this a bit close. So he dodges right there. When you use it really, really fast like that, he might get to use a second Flame Guard on this wave. If it was a 30-second cooldown, he would basically have it already. But because it's 35, it's very hard to Flame Guard every single wave. So, yeah, hopefully I'm explaining that a little okay. So he's just baiting the remnants out a bit with some fancy footwork. I would say against the heroes that use spells to secure last hits, like Storm, Quap, and Puck, having your Sleight of Fist or your Flame Guard up when you go up to deny is important. So when they do eventually cast their spell, you can block it, or like, you know, press it when it's getting low, and then forces them to use the spell while you're hitting them, all that good stuff. So I'm not sure if it was his plan to use Flame Guard right away to try and Flame Guard this wave too, but he chose to hold it this wave, even near the end of it. I'm very bad at using this drawing tool, by the way. So dodging the Remnant again there, very telegraphed. At level 2, it's also very, very difficult against Storm specifically, or if Puck doesn't go phase shift. I'm pretty sure a Remnant and an Overload charge breaks level 1 Flame Guard, which is also why he's choosing not to use it as much. And here, this is a perfect example, and I'm gonna go back just a tick here. This is something that you can apply to many matchups, not just Storm specifically, which is why I wanted to cover this game in particular. But if you can see, Storm walked in to secure the range creep into melee range, okay? Because if he doesn't, Ember can block the Remnant with his body, and the creep won't die to the Remnant. And if Ember's in melee range, he has a huge advantage on getting the CS. So I am terrible at using this tool. There we go. I wish I had hotkeys for it. He's going to run in when the range creep is deniable, okay? So when he runs in, when the range creep is below half, Storm has to run away or take half his HP in damage if he stands in the Flame Guard. So this is how you can use Flame Guard to secure denies. It pushes them away from the creep wave. Also, with Flame Guard up, let's say Storm uses a Remnant like right here. If he's like right in on top of him in his face, it won't hit the range creep, right? Because he'll block it. So he's gonna using your body and Flame Guard is important in these like versus range matchups, even against some melee heroes. And he secures a range deny, which is very important because he already has his bottle pretty much from this wave. So he's gonna secure the bottle almost on time. It's gonna get here by 2 minutes, and he'll be fine. And now that he's secured bottle, the mindset should also shift a lot, where like securing every deny, not getting denied, is important because whoever hits 6 first might kill the other or get a huge advantage from early rotations. Since in pro games, people like to play on the runes a lot. So here without Flame Guard, he's going to play a little safer. He's still trying, like, since Sleight of Fist is up, he can play on top of the wave a little better. And then just Sleight of Fist dodge the Remnant, but... And then with level 2 Flame Guard, like I showed earlier in the demo lobby, he can block basically 2 Remnants almost. Like, one full Remnant and Overload, and then he can Sleight of Fist the second one. And he'll get full value out of the Flame Guard if he gets next to the Storm. So at this point, until Storm is like level 4 or 5, whatever it is to break the Flame Guard again reliably, or to do enough damage outside of the Flame Guard cooldown, basically whenever Flame Guard's up, Ember's at a huge advantage. Whenever it's on cooldown, Storm is at an advantage. And they're both going to like fight back and forth for getting 6 first. So I don't agree with this Flame Guard. I think he could have waited for some creeps to get low. I do see the angle that he's just going to zone him out of the lane here. But because he aggroed the creeps as well, they're not going to get deniable. And again, like, it's going to be a lot better for you if you can use your Flame Guard cooldown to secure denies. I don't think just pushing the wave at this point is necessarily enough. And he gets denied there for it too. And you can also see he's like walking in and out of the Remnant range to like try to make it like, am I going to deny this? You better use some mana. Oh, I didn't go for the deny. Something you'll notice, even though aggroing back is in Ember's toolkit to like bait people in, like what I was talking about, against a really good player, it kind of just makes the lane too simple. So if both players aggro back, usually you just trade farm, and he wants to play for more of an advantage than that because Storm hasn't put a lot of pressure on him. So he's on his hill, that's nice. He got the double hit. I don't know if you guys saw that. I'm going to try to draw on the screen what happened as well. So right here, he can slight after the range creep, and he doesn't go for it right away, but he does it here, and he casted it so that it only affected I didn't slow it down in time, my bad. So if you think of the bubble, right, it was like this, and this creep was like back here and Storm was right here. He didn't get these two creeps, okay? Like, pretend these don't exist. It hits whoever's closest in the circle that he presses. So hitting the Storm twice, even though he's not blocking or dodging a Remnant, once you have level 2 Slight and ideally level 3 Slight, you really want to spam this over and over again whenever you can get max value like that. I would say with level 2 Slight, if you have this much mana, just go for it. But you really want to wait for level 3 Slight to really spam it. And right as the creep was deniable, in quotes, he forces Storm to use the Remnant on it, and he walks in with his Flame Guard. And he's just going to body the Storm off the wave so that he can farm his creeps. He's still getting some trade value off. And normally it'd be pretty hard to get damage off with Flame Guard on Ember. It's like a melee spell, kind of. But you can see how low he's getting Laurel. And the important thing is Laurel's kind of stuck trying to last hit the creeps while the Flame Guard is on his screen. So Wand and Blightstone is pretty normal in this matchup. Level 3 Slight, he's just going to start spamming it now. Especially, he did the little trick again. So he's not going to, like, an amateur Ember player would slight the whole wave here. He waits for Storm to be right in front of the range creep, and then he double hits him with the Slight. Right there. Very, very important in a lot of matchups. And I'm going to fast forward because it's pretty straightforward from here. I think Laurel was even stacking there. And he even pressures and forces a TP. And Quinn for sure won this lane. It might not seem like much on net worth, but he's forcing the Storm to go to base, even though the Tusk got the rune. The Storm is losing a big creep wave now. He's going to go for the Wisdom rune, and Storm is healing, so he goes bottom. He doesn't get it. That's fine. Storm losing more creeps. And ever since he sent the Storm to base, he built like a 700 gold advantage, which is huge. And then I believe here, I don't remember this game very well, but I think he's going to go for a kill at some point. It's on the rune here, yeah. And this is without chains. He didn't have chains until after the kill. You don't need chains to kill a lot of these heroes when you have 3 remnants to chase them down. That concludes the entire 7.38C Ember video. Again, if you got this far in the video, say banana in the comments. I love bananas. Hopefully this was super helpful. If there's anything you think I could have maybe talked about, I tried to keep this from literally beginner to all the way to advanced or intermediate stuff, but mostly focusing on the beginner intermediate stuff. And I can't go over every 100,000 matchups of Ember versus every mid hero in the game, but I do like including a bit of the thought process behind some of the laning, from my perspective at least. And oh, I wasn't even on the screen there for this. That's my bad. I didn't have the webcam above the display capture, but that's, amateur YouTuber here, not the best YouTuber of all time, but I'm back on the screen. Like, comment, subscribe, and press banana. Thank you.